Charisse, I just have to ask you as you're getting on, is there another baby in the house yet? When does the baby arrive? Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
Sorry, I was unmuting. Yep, baby Nico is arriving tomorrow. The C-section is scheduled for 10 a.m. So by 10:45, we should have a beautiful baby addition to our family. So
yay! Grandma, do you go? Wait, no, you go by Gigi though.
I go by Nana.
Nana. Oh wait, who's
Yes.
Gigi? Maybe Chris Ruskowitz is Gigi. I don't know, but somebody's a Gigi. You're a Nana.
I'm a Nana. Believe it or not, I'm a Nana.
Okay, well, we will wait a couple minutes here while we get the logins. And we wrap up the month. Holy man. Is anybody outside? Like seriously, okay, Cindy, I can see you're in your car. Is your sunroof open?
I can open it.
Yeah, like seriously, right? 80 degrees out today. It's warmer outside than it is inside.
I'm wearing my skirt today.
Ooh, show off those white legs. Own them.
No thanks.
Yeah. You know, it's that kind of day where you're inside, and because it's, you know, the April, you know, it's kind of like cooler in versus out. So love it. I see Lynn's got a window behind her. Do your windows open up behind you, Lynn? Oh no, that's because we're in an old school building. You know, they are building new construction. I heard, I don't know what it was on 2020 or something, but the new way of construction for new construction is they're building more windows now into commercial buildings. You know, because of COVID, we gotta like stick our heads out the window, I guess, if we want to breathe outside our masks. I don't know. But that's the new thing that I heard with new construction of commercial. So, okay, wow, we are here. We are going to start with, just in case you didn't see, we're going to start with a video. So I thought we could all use a little laugh in case you didn't get a chance to see it. And if you're like me, you'll laugh just as hard the second time. So when Allison is ready, she's going to play us a video to kick off our meeting. And when you're ready, if it'll work. And just so you know, you're on mute, Allison. So I don't know if the sound will come from you or what. Yeah. I'm already laughing.
Is that apple for sale? Yeah, we're about to put it on sale right now, actually. Well, I'm in the market, so tell me about your apple. Why should I buy it? Nice try. Okay, people, here's how this is going to work. I have an apple here. The highest bidder's going home with this. I want all bids in the next 2 minutes, then we're closing it. Bidding starts at $5. Feeling pretty confident there, huh? I mean, $10. He said starting at $5. 15. Is this a new apple? Yeah, just listed. I'm pre-qualified. I'll pay cash. I got cash. 20. 30, 40, no, just make it 45. Is it even worth that? 50, I don't know. Please, this is the 8th apple I've tried to buy. Could I at least see it up close? Nope, it's an apple. You know what it is. You either want it or you don't. I'll take it for 100. What, I'm from California. It's the cheapest apple I've ever seen. 120. Why did I do that? Why, I don't.
Okay, so I thought, I was talking to Peter about the apple. I was like, what would have even been funnier is if he then took a bite out of the apple and then everybody bid even higher. So, sorry. That's okay. We could just sit here all day at our team meeting and we could just watch funny videos. Would that be kind of, I mean, that'd be worthy. So anyway, just making light of what we're experiencing right now, because literally that's what it feels like, I hear. So, all right, we are going to get this party started, as I like to say. We have some welcomes. We've got a couple of compliance updates. We're going to highlight our May training calendar. We're going to talk about, where does KW rank in Wisconsin? I wonder. We're going to open up for our market of the moment. as we said last week, we're gonna just open up at the end of our meeting to always share what's working, what's not working. And then of course, anybody who has a listing coming soon, just like an Apple, we want to be ready to pay big dollar for it. So we've got a couple of welcomes. We have Sean Gleason and Brett Clark. So Sean, are you here? I thought that I saw your face. If you want to unmute and just wave and introduce.
I am here in the KW office.
Welcome, Sean. Do you have anything to share real
Welcome.
quick? Anything to share real quick about yourself?
Glad to be starting a new career at 53 years old. In the real estate, I was in the hospitality industry for about 35 years. And we know where that industry is right now.
Yeah. Well, welcome. That is
Thank
definitely a
you.
good experience to bring here. And we call it 53 years young. So welcome. And then Brett Clark. I don't know if he was here. I didn't see his face or not. Did anybody see Brett? Brett, are you in the house?
How's it going? So I'm new to Keller Williams and I'm looking forward to starting a career.
Welcome, Brett. So we're
Welcome,
excited
Brett.
to have you guys.
Hey, Brett, you're coming from Century 21 Appleton?
Yeah.
Do you know, I'll catch you later, but I wonder if you know Brenda Foyt. Maybe I'll message you later.
Okay, sounds good.
Beautiful. Welcome. All right, so we are going to give the floor to our wonderful Cindy. She's going to share with us a little bit of information about listing remarks. Anything we need to know, Cindy?
All right, hi guys. So sorry I'm driving. So I'm gonna get through this as good as I can. Let me, if you guys can raise your hand or clap or unmute yourself. Did anybody receive this email from MLS that shows about private remarks? Because they said they sent it out to us on March 30th.
I received it, Cindy,
You did.
but I can't
Okay.
find it. I don't know if they retracted it because I looked through all my emails and I couldn't find it.
That's so interesting because I don't think I ever received it, and I went back and looked and I couldn't find it either. And someone else told me that too. They couldn't find it. So there's a huge issue that came to my attention last week. So what's happening is MLS has always wanted us to put in private remarks if the seller wants us to do something, right? So if the seller wants to review all offers on Sunday night or Monday night, whatever it is that we're going to hold all offers. So we're supposed to put that in private remarks. Well, we were always told that if the seller changed their mind, that the seller, we're supposed to present all offers as they come in, and the seller has their right to accept offers anytime. Well, I guess MLS is changing that rule, and they are actually fining people, and they call it sanction. They're fining people if realtors, listing agents put in the private remarks, seller to review all offers on Sunday night, and then seller decides to accept an offer on Saturday. There is a $500 fine if you decide to change to do that. So we have to be really cautious of that. That kind of blew my mind that that's happening. MLS is stating that you have to educate your seller to say that, okay, great, we can accept all offers on Sunday night, we'll hold all offers. You cannot change your mind. If you're going to change your mind, you're better off not putting that language in that offer and then just taking offers as they come. There have been several agents in our office that already got fined. We are appealing them. So if you are one of them, call me and we try to appeal it with MLS because we don't think they sent out the email to all of us. Another thing that's happening is if you're not putting that language in MLS, right? If you don't put that language in, and then you go ahead and the seller accepts an offer right away, all of the showings will get canceled in showing time. that's another issue, where they're saying that, don't ask me how to explain this, but they're calling it a fair housing rule, that you're not allowing everybody to show the property. So it's getting a little confusing and frustrating on how to sell a property nowadays. So we got to be really cautious and conscious of what we're putting in MLS and how we're showing the houses. Anybody have questions on that? And are you confused on it as much as I am?
Yeah,
Well,
so Cindy,
go ahead, Julia.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, I've also seen where the listing agent actually directs you to a document that's uploaded, and it of course details
Yep,
everything.
it's the next, that's perfect, Julia. That is the
Yeah.
next slide. If you want to pull up the next slide. So
Oh,
or 2 slides from now, one more. So go ahead, Julia.
oh, no, I was just gonna say, this is exactly what I'm seeing. So I'm assuming that that would be appropriate, as long as we follow this in with the MLS aspect, I would assume, Cindy? Correct?
Yeah, so if you put this language or this document in MLS, you have to follow it. You cannot change your mind. There is language on there, and I'm hoping I can't see it because I'm driving, but where it says the seller reserves the right to change their mind, that we can't do that. The seller cannot change their mind. It has to be, yes, we're gonna do it this way, or no, we're gonna do it another way. There's no changing minds.
Okay.
So you have to educate your seller on that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Cindy. So we'll take note of that because I do see here under seller decision on offers, and we copied this from another agent in MLS. You see where it says note, seller reserves the right to modify this time frame. We will take that out, and then we will upload this to our OneSpot, and this will also be in your team meeting recap. So you have a template. You can change it, but it's just an example to give you an idea to make it easy. And yeah, if you choose a date, you got to stick with it. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But
can we say then, when you're talking to your sellers, we could say, give us through this time for binding acceptance, as long as you don't say that offers would be presented?
I actually got an email from MLS, and they told me the exact verbiage to say is you can only say give us binding acceptance through X date.
okay,
Right.
great. Alice and Mar, can you forward that to Abby? Because Abby is uploading this document to our OneSpot, and she'll change that language on there.
Yes.
Thank you.
And another
But
thing
isn't
is,
it correct that we have to actually have that on the listing contract, that
Ye-
seller requests binding acceptance by a certain date
yeah,
or time? And that's
yeah,
the
thank
only
you,
way we can put
Mandy.
it in the private remarks?
yep, I was just gonna say that, make sure you have that in your listing contract because MLS is checking that stuff.
Woof. Okay.
The other thing, MLS is showings, right? So when we put a active listing in, and let's just say it goes in Tuesday, today, and if the seller doesn't want showings to start until Thursday or Friday, we cannot do that. It has to be active showings right away. If you want to get around that, you have to do it in delayed status. That unfortunately, that's the only way to do it. There is no way we can say, okay, seller doesn't want showings to start until 5 o'clock on Wednesday. It has to actually be showing start right away in the morning on Wednesday. You can also put on there 24-hour notice though, but that also has to be an MLS remark or on the listing contract. So that MLS sees it. So they're really cracking down on this, and they don't want to give out fines. Their first thing is let's educate everybody, blah blah blah, but it's just getting to be so bad out there that they are really cracking down on watching everything. So
Yeah.
we just got to be careful.
So if we do end up getting a fine, and how do we end up finding out we were fined? Do we get notified before we actually see it on our monthly invoice?
Yeah, so they will, if it's one of these fines, they will email you saying that you've been sanctioned, whatever. And then they also say you can appeal it. So my suggestion is always appeal. always, because there's always a reason why the seller wanted to accept the offer early, right? I mean, in our case, the seller was an older lady and she just couldn't handle all the showings anymore and she was getting ill, and the agent's like, okay, we'll just accept the offer. The seller wanted to accept the offer, and they did try to notify everybody that was doing the show, that, you know, did the showings, but there always is going to be that one person that they didn't call, and that person's probably going to be the one that's going to complain, right? And the other thing is, today everybody seems to be complaining, right? Everybody is calling GMAR, all the agents are calling GMAR and MLS to complain. So we got to be really conscious of that. There's always going to be someone that's going to not be happy.
So, hey Cindy, it's Julie again. How can we, I mean, I know I'm just throwing this out there. It's more of a frustration. Like if they're making these changes and I look at all my email, I can't tell you I received this. Is there something we can impress upon them, like to either update, send it out again?
Yeah, in fact, that's why I asked everyone, because I am going to email them back saying we never received this. Because I am actually very good about reading all my emails from MLS and GMAR, and I know I didn't get this one. Yeah. And they said they sent it out March 30th. So I went back and they gave me the link to it. That's how I got it. So that's why I'm going to go back today and say, hey, we never received this. So try to send it out. They do have, no, I was going to say they don't have a social media presence. That's GMAR. So we'll see. That's why if anybody did get fined, call me up and we'll appeal it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, what's even more weird about it is it wasn't like there was an effective date either. So usually they don't just give you this notice. Usually it's like, oh, effective April 1st or whatever. So.
And, you know, and I'm not defending MLS in any way, but they are being bombarded with calls. So they're probably scrambling as much as we are. And they might be not doing things correctly, right? Because they're just as frustrated as we are. So,
yeah. And Cindy, it's Rachel. I did receive an email, but like I said, I went back and I was looking, I just could not find it. And I went through the MLS and they have on their website, they have rules and regulations. It's not on there yet. And it would just be good if they would add that.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I know they revamped their website. That's why I left the link in there on that page on the bottom. That's the link to their website, because we used to be able to get to their website through Flex MLS. And now I can't figure out how to get there from their website. So that's why I left the link in there. So yeah, so that's why I was questioning it.
Okay, Speedy Market, guys. We will do our best to keep you updated. And of course, if you hear anything or see anything and we have not announced it as a whole, please let us know, because right now everything, like Cindy said, is moving extremely rapidly. I don't even know if that's the right way to use those two words together. Anyway, everything is moving rapidly. So, and like Cindy said, I heard her on the phone the other day when she was in the office. The entire time she was on the phone, it was managing complaints from brokers and agents. So just like Cindy said, we're overwhelmed, and so is, you know, MLS. They haven't received this. So, and GMAR.
And you know what, I'd like to make a mention also, Kim, about the call and the complaints. I get that everybody's frustrated and angry at this market, and everybody wants to file ethics complaints because somebody yelled at them or somebody did this. It's like, I understand if you want to file an ethics complaint, somebody did something intentionally wrong. I'm all for helping you guys out. But if you're just going to file an complaint when yelled at you, or you're yelled at someone else, or whatever is the case, just sit back and think about this whole industry and what is going on, and everybody's frustrated. So just take deep breaths and let it go. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, unless it's really needed. So thank you.
Unless it's intentional.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to file a complaint.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing just to to take it to the client level. Like, imagine, you know, we do this as full time, and it's very frustrating for our agents. I called some agents today, and I could hear the tiredness in their voices, where normally when I call, there's a little more pep, there's a little more cheer. But just imagine what it would be like to put yourself in an actual buyer's shoes, or I mean, mostly a buyer, but also seller. I mean, getting beat out on 6, 8 offers or whatever, and like how frustrating and terrifying that would be if you have a need to move and everything. So it's just all around, it's just future pacing and being empathetic to, you know, what this market is to the clients and to the agents and to yourself, to us. So, you know, I can be a punching bag too, but at a certain point, I don't like to be a punching bag, and Cindy doesn't, or, you know, everyone does. We're all human. So
Yeah.
just empathy is a great word right now.
For sure.
Yep.
Empathy and breathing. So true, Scott. Okay. Thank you for that update, Cindy. And then one
You
last
bet.
thing, because I threw in this slide, Cindy, so I'll just read it. We had received an email from Regional about, once again, just bringing up the do not call registry. The region received a complaint, as you can see here, the second bullet point, from a Richard Sund, and his numbers listed there. All agents should immediately remove his name. I don't think any of you guys probably have it on your list, but just in case, there's a class action litigation, but there could be violations, or the violations are increasing, as you can see here, and claims can, you know, obviously cost a lot of money. So we do just want to remind you again, especially in the market we're in, we are encouraging you to call expireds and call homes that are not on the market. At the same time, we must emphasize you have to follow the do not call registry or door knock. So just wanted to remind you guys of that. That's all I got on that. All right, Cindy, do you have anything else to add, like on do not call, that we need to be aware of?
I don't have that, but on MLS, we are in the process of trying to get our MLS Connect hooked up. And I need everybody to go, when they go into their MLS or their zip forms, and let me know if their MLS Connect works. And if it doesn't, let me know and we'll try to figure out how to do it. MLS Connect is something where when you're in MLS and there's a zip forms button up on top, just like how a showing time button is. And you click on the zip forms button and it will create a transaction for you and fill in all the listing agent details and all the property details. We have that. It's not working for some of us, it's working for other people. So if you really want it, let me know and we can hook it up for you.
Good. Thank you, Cindy.
You bet. That's it.
Okay, drive safe.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to talk about our upcoming training and go from there. So your May calendar, you will receive that soon, as May is just around the corner. So just a couple of highlights I want to point out. I do want to point out, obviously we've all saved the date for our Red Day. You'll get a separate email about that to sign up for your job duties. We're still working out the details. A little reminder, career education sessions that Tina leads are on Wednesdays now. They're once a week. So if you know of anybody who's looking at starting a real estate career or is currently in pre-licensing somewhere else, all of that is done on one Zoom. We do have here our orientation for our newly licensed agents is now going to be the full second week of each month versus spread out over the month. I do see here Chris Geppert is going to be training zip forms on the 20th. So mark that down. That's for everybody, not just newly licensed agents. 10:30 to 11:30. He's really, really good in this system. He'll teach you tips and tricks. How can you more efficiently be a realtor in zip forms? So he's going to be leading that on Thursday in the training room. We have our command workshop. That's at Germantown, I can see. And then we have on Wednesday when most of our masterminds are, as you can see there. Ignite. So the other thing to point out, I know it doesn't start till June, but just want to point out this will come in a separate email as well. I don't know what the deadline is for registration, but it's going to probably be very soon, like in 2 weeks, because we have to order materials. So Ignite will run Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to noon, and check out this all-star cast. So all of these agents will be leading their sessions. So I highly, highly encourage everyone in the PC program, anybody who wants to learn from these great agents and know from the beginning to the end, how do I build a business? This is by far one of our most valuable courses that we lead, and this will be live in the training room. So wanted to let you know that. Let's see, today in the training room, Julia Kellogg is going to be talking about elevated communication with your co-broke. Julia, do you have anything to share about that? Like, that's like the #1 thing right now. I think you're on mute.
I did. No, I wrote this last year when we were in COVID. So I had to make some adjustments, obviously. Already this year, things have changed dramatically, but it's just really it's all about communication, man. It really is. And all the things you can do to really, once you get in the deal, to make sure that it's super smooth, you get everybody to the closing table, and you actually create a relationship with the other agent.
Nice. Our organizational model mastermind is on Wednesdays. So for anybody leading a team or building a team, I can see here Saturday, holy man, Saturday, a showing tour with Steph for the PC program. Steph, do you have anything to share about that?
Yeah, I did this back in January and I had about 13 of the PC agents show up. It was outstanding. So we're doing this again. Big thanks to Dan Schmidt. He supplied me with a property that I can show, which has well and septic. It has the Unico Space Saver air conditioning up in the attic. It's on a boiler. So it's got a couple of really fun things that maybe you haven't grown up with in your own house, you haven't seen. So like, what is that? Just so that we can walk through and learn from it and know how to show properties with these types of mechanicals and special features. So we'll be doing that from 10 to 11. The address is there. Be there at 10. Otherwise, we'll lock the door on you. You have to use the lockbox to get in. Figure out that one. We'll have an old school locker combo. Lockbox
I like it.
Figure out how to enter.
And then next week, Tuesday, don't want to miss that. So specifically for the PC agents, but anybody can always show up for the Tuesday courses that take place in the training room. How to run a CMA with Jeremy Reinders in person next week, Tuesday. So if you guys, because our new calendar is coming out for May, if you have any questions, we have, whether you're newly licensed or whether you've been in the business for 20 plus years, whether you're running a team or whether you're an individual agent, we have training for everybody. So if you have any questions and you're not sure how to decipher it and what to go to, just reach out to your leadership team and we're happy to guide you. Because you don't need to go to all of it, just go to what you need for your business today. So beautiful. And then I did email this out yesterday, I think it was. So Regional also supports training. So this is in your inbox. This would be for anybody who is the rainmaker of a team or has an assistant, and I should say has an assistant. So this is for the rainmaker and the assistant. I think that the price went up. Yesterday it was $99. Now it's $129. I got the email kind of late, so I did the best I could to get it out to you guys. But that's what this course is all about. So it should be in your inbox. And then I just wanted to give an update on our compliance support. So compliance is a lot of work in today's market. So we're going back to what we call kind of our call tree support system. So weekly, you will be receiving an email so that you know who's on duty. So Cindy is still always the main compliance person to contact. If she's on vacation, we'll note it. And then Fridays, Lisa always covers for her. So we put it in order of preference, like always reach out to Cindy first. And the goal is for you to be able to personally reach somebody for your compliance support. Obviously, we like to just reiterate what's a 411 versus a 911. So a 411 is a term that we use in the office. This is, hey, I need information, but I don't need it right now because I'm not sitting with a client. So if you get that and Cindy's on duty, please still feel free to text her or leave her a message if she's on the other line or she's in a class, teaching a class or in a leadership meeting, she'll get back to you. It's a 411. If it's a 911, that's where we feel like you need to have extra support. You're sitting with a client. And so that's when you can move down the call tree. Chris Ruskowitz, Jeremy Reinders, they're there to support you as well. We just ask respectfully that if it's between the hours of 8:30 and 5, that you just know if it's a 411 and you've left a message at, let's say 4:59, you might not get a reach back out until the next business day. Obviously, if it's a 911, do us a huge favor, text 911. I need help right now. I'm writing this contingency or whatever it is, and you got to help me out. So just wanted to let you know that this is what we're doing now. For all of our agents that are not in the productivity coaching program. And then just a reminder, if you are in the productivity coaching program, your number one contact is your transaction mentor. And then if you don't get a hold of your transaction mentor, you could certainly go down the tree as well if it is a 911, but always go to your transaction mentor first, as they are required to review your contract. So that is the market of the moment and where we feel you guys need extra help. Is there any questions, thoughts, feedback on that? Or anything that anybody wants to add? Beautiful. All right, Steph, the floor is yours.
Okie dokie. So I think on our next slide, we have a PC to celebrate. So if you guys want to do your unmute with me, and we can shake it for Catherine Gorell, who had her first closing. Woo! Woohoo! So last Friday, as you know, Catherine has been like the everything everywhere woman and helping many of you. So she's helped as a showing partner and helping us in need with open houses, but she got to her first closing. So we just really wanted to take a moment and celebrate her. She's extremely hardworking, and she has just really embraced real estate and is truly knowledgeable. So when you see her, give her a high five or an elbow, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, so then if we go to the next slide. So a couple weeks ago, Chris Ruskowitz had mentioned, I think it was on a Morning Mojo, but she was talking about the affordability index. And so we talked a little bit about this in one of our trainings last week. And I had sent these documents out to the people in PC. And yesterday, when I pulled the links up, I realized that the links that I sent them didn't work. So everyone will now have these documents from Allison in the meeting recap. I've been talking with buyers about this, and it's really cool. If you think about breaking down your purchase price with someone, when we talk about, well, if you pay $10,000 more, it's $3 per thousand. So you're living in your payment, not in your purchase price. And when looking at kind of the mentality about, well, I don't want to overpay, I don't want to pay more than what a house is worth. The cool thing that I see on here is if you look at 2019 quarter four, the starter home price was $233,800. And then comparing that to the bottom line, the 2020 quarter four, starter home price $268,500. But if we move over to the effective interest rate column, you'll see the rate went from 376 down to 281. And then what's really exciting about this is the monthly payment. So if you compare those two monthly payments, you look at $1,006 per month versus $1,027. So what I've been trying to work with people is, you have a lot more affordability. Your money is stretching now. So even though you're paying $268 for a house instead of $233, your payment is only $21 different. And so your affordability in today's market gets you more. So it's kind of like a mental shift. You know, we have to work on our buyer's mindset in that you're not overpaying, you're paying market price. And with rates as they are, it makes it affordable for you. So if you were buying a year ago, really you're spending 20 bucks more. And what do you spend 20 bucks on in a month? Like, could you cut out some Starbucks, you know, or a movie, something, you know, so it's just really breaking it down. So I felt like this was a really fun slide. And this is just from NAR, looking at, you know, if you look at affordability index, and you can find these charts, but this one in particular, Allison will give you. If you go to the next slide, in NAR, they had a summary of March statistics, and you can flip to the next one. And this one I really liked on here. If you look at the big dip, down, that was, you know, when we first had our COVID shutdown, remember in March when we were all like, are we essential? Are we not? You know, and you see that existing home sales really tanked, but you can see how they climbed and went up. So some of these you may or may not choose to use, but this is a big report that they have. So if you flip to the next one, Allison, you know, people are thinking like, the prices really jumped drastically. This shows really a very stable, steady increase of prices of existing home sales. So I just thought that was an interesting piece too. On the next one then, you know, again, it's talking about the prices. So you can see from 12 of 20, you know, we're at 12.6%. And then going up from January, February, March, just really kind of a steady increase. And then on the next one, this is just a different format of where we see that COVID shutdown. So if you see like the minus 16.8 and the minus 25, I know I had like no closings last March and April, but June was probably my biggest month of the year because there was all that, you know, pent up anxiety about, I got to get a house, I got to get out of this cramped space. And that was when we were really starting to rev things up. And of course, we can see where it's gone from there. The next one, they were indicating in here that sales to investors were down. You know, of course, when we're all overbidding, our investors aren't going to be buying as much. So you can see that one went from 15 down to 13. But in the next section, it says cash sales, you know, which cash sales apparently are down, even though we keep getting bid out by cash buyers. I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, the lack of investors out there, because, you know, if investors aren't able to grab these, you know, people who are consuming properties are going to be willing to pay more than the investor would. And the other thing to note on here too was distressed sales. You know, people keep asking us, do you feel like we're going to be in a heavy short sale or foreclosure market soon? You can look, you know, from a year ago, it's only changed from 1% to 3%. So that wasn't very drastic. So we're not seeing a lot of that yet. On the next one, this one just shows existing home sales. The Midwest region, you know, takes 21% of sales. And on the next one, this is just a look at the inventory. So you can see, you know, condos versus single family versus, you know, the whole nationwide supply. And then on the next one, you know, if you add up the green and the red, you know, you're seeing that probably the majority of sales that a lot of us work with in the 100 to 500 range, 70% of sales are in that category that we typically work in. And then on the very last slide, this one is just looking at percent change in sales from a year ago by price. The one that, you know, just really stuck out to me the most is that affordability index, the first one. And I think sometimes just showing people some of these slides with a graph or a bar chart is just a great visual to show someone of where our market is at. So I hope that you guys take something away from this, and you can use even one page, then it was worth me sharing.
Yeah, I think that's great. And as we always say, it's good to study the numbers, know the numbers. We don't need to know all the numbers. Pick what resonates most with you. Like Steph was saying, that first one, I think that's a great slide to show, because you are correct. The news is like, oh, it's crazy and people are paying so much for their homes and they're overpaying, but really they're not when you compare it to the pricing with the interest rate. So I like that. Good stuff. Scott.
All right, everyone. We have some very, very, very exciting news that we want to share. We want to gather one stream of communication and just like blast this everywhere we can over social media, calling, create a video, just do everything we can, because we study the numbers. You know, KW, this market center is coming up on 3.5 or 4 years. It just had its 4-year anniversary yesterday of being official. So that's really exciting news. Keller Williams 6 years ago was basically non-existent for the most part in the Milwaukee area. But we study the numbers every year, how many units sold, volume sold, and we found a very, very exciting tidbit. So if you want to go to the next slide, Keller Williams in 2020 has not only taken over the #1 position in the state of Wisconsin for number of homes sold, but we destroyed #2 in Shore West. And so when you look at the largest home selling company in Wisconsin, we are it. There is 2 offices in Madison. We have the 4 here locally. There's 2 in the Green Bay area, Appleton area, and then there's 1 on the west side in Hudson. And so combined, we looked at all those numbers and we outsold by nearly 3,000 transactions our next biggest competitor. So when you see things that say like Wisconsin's largest home seller, they are technically no longer true. Anyone can be #1 depending on how you do the survey or do the numbers. Shore West is a 1 franchise, and so they will compare all 20 of their offices to 1 Keller Williams because that's what works for them. But when you look at the franchise brand, it is without a doubt #1. Now, what this means to us is tremendous. It's not only about the agents that we get to be in business with. Every time we find another agent chooses to be in business with us, we get someone else that gives back, that has abundance, that will share in masterminds, that may be compliance backup, that may be on the tech tribe. There's so much value to that to us as agents, but just picture the market share. We were contacted by 3 10 to 15 plus $1 million agents. They contacted us, which never happens. And what they told Kim was, everywhere in my neighborhood, all I see is Keller Williams signs, and I need to know what the heck is going on. Now that is extremely, extremely powerful. It will help you get listings. It will help you work with buyers, and together we will all win. So when we started, and those of you that were with us from the beginning, and every appointment you heard Keller who, or, oh, that's so cute. You opened, I would hear this from my friends and family. It's so cute. You opened up a small broker. I'm like, you don't understand. It is the biggest company in the country, in the world. And now it's the biggest in the state by a tremendous, tremendous amount. And guess what? This is only going to continue to get the gap, because not only are we going up in transactions, our competition is going down. So really, really cool. We have this graphic to share, and just stay tuned. We're looking for ideas on everything we can to blast this out to the market, and just so everybody can know. If you think Will Ferrell and Anchorman, he wants to scream it on top of a mountain. He didn't have a mountain, he had a newsroom. So let's find our newsroom. Let's see how we can get this out to everyone possible.
Woo! All right, woo-hoo! No joke, no joke. You and your cute little office.
Yes, I do think, Julia, like Billboard came to mind. Like, how awesome would that be? So
Really quick question. How many KW offices are there in Wisconsin? There's only a handful.
it's officially, there are there's 8 or 9 officially. Germantown will be there very, very soon, like very soon. I was hoping Germantown would have the same official approval date as Milwaukee Southwest, but that happened yesterday, so that's not going to happen. So there'll be 8 to 10 only. So really awesome stuff. Go text a friend. Go share that. And then just a quick update on the listing contest. We just to remind everyone, we do have a Google form that we're filling out daily. Anyone can participate. So whether you're a staff member, you're an operations person, if you call 5 people and ask them if they want to know the value of their home, and you pass that lead, either a virtual market analysis or in-person listing appointment to your favorite agent, both you and the agent gets the points. We want to make this fun for everyone. And how cool would it be if, like, you know, if an admin on a team won, or, you know, something like that, they got a chance at winning this number, because everybody, this is not a seller, this is a homeowner. Anyone that owns a home can participate. And then just a quick update on the top 5 so far. This is going through the end of May, so we still have plenty of time to do this. But if you want to click to the next slide, here's who we have as a top 5.
Oh no, I can tell them. I can tell you.
Oh, we don't? Yeah. So we have, right now we have, yeah, go ahead, Kim. Why don't you tell them?
So right now, and Judy, Joe, Sue Arnold, CJ, and then Casey Mayton and Terry Lewis are tied in 5th. So sorry, I keep getting texts because our Facebook Live somehow is not working. So yeah, leadership can do this too. So yes, staff, anyone, you guys can call the people you know. You can get involved, included in this contest, because the only thing that's going to get us out of this market is more listings. And if we can proactively and purposely all get on the same page and put homes on the market that may not have been, through reaching out, through being solution based, we will win. And I heard a really good line from, I think it was Sharice or Lisa, I can't remember who, I apologize. So I'll just give you both credit. But they said, this is not a seller's market, this is a skill set market. And so your skill set is what's going to win. And the most foundational skill set is just asking the question and then providing the solution. So let's get on board. This is exciting times. fantastic. I'm trying to get some people on the Zoom. Sorry. So I don't know. Okay, so how would I know? How would I ask you guys? Did you get kicked off the Zoom? No, you're here. Okay, Abby, I will give you the floor then.
Thank you. This is a pretty big update for Tech Tribe. So we're kind of restructuring in a way. We still have all the great people that are part of it, but we're going about it a little bit differently for the sake of requiring or requesting help. So on our site, I kind of changed the page on the KW Tech Help Request tab, where you used to be able to go in and type in the little box that you needed help and it would go to the KW Tech Tribe email. So what we're doing now is we're actually going to have a Google form. And so you'll go to this page, click on the link here, and it's going to take you to a Google form. And this will take the place of sending an email. The email will still be alive, so if you use it, we'll still see it. But we want to move into this process because this actually goes onto a spreadsheet for us, the members of the Tech Tribe, and then we can all have access to it and answer questions based on our specialties. So you're not limited to whoever's on Monday and they don't maybe know anything or know enough about Facebook ads, and then your question is sitting there. So it's kind of like an open spreadsheet for all Tech Tribe members to see on a daily basis and jump in and answer accordingly, depending on their strengths. So rule of thumb is that there's really not a designated person each day. The expectation is that you'll receive a response from someone on Tech Tribe within 24 hours. So this is Monday through Saturday, because I know Chris McKenzie is on Saturdays usually, but you can expect a response from someone within 24 hours. So that means if this is urgent, say, I want to make sure I get paid for my closing tomorrow, so I need help with commissions, that's not really something I would send to the Tech Tribe. You can reach out directly to me. These are more 411 tips on how to do something in command. So everyone is still part of the Tech Tribe that was there before. We just have a different format for submitting requests. And just know that you'll receive some sort of feedback within 24 hours. If they can't answer it, then it will get forwarded to me. And then I also have on here my one-on-one command sessions. So these are for booking time with me specifically on Tuesday mornings to walk through how to do something in command. So Tech Tribe, if you're having issues with something not working, mine would be more around training on how to do something in command. If you get them mixed up, it's not a big deal. I'm here to help with all things tech. So if you forget which one you're supposed to go to, it really doesn't matter. I'm communicating frequently with the Tech Tribe. So once you get into this form, you'll just have your name, email, and then what area you're looking for help in. So kept it very brief, very general. And then at the bottom, we just want to know what your question is, essentially, so that the appropriate person can reach out to you. And we're also going to be offering more frequently to hop on Zoom and see your screen and see what you're seeing versus handing out links that might be helpful based on some feedback. We found that having a conversation or hopping on Zoom would be a lot more helpful than receiving a long list of answers links as far as, because we can get those from KW support, 3 days after you send your ticket. So any questions on the form or reaching out to Tech Tribe or what Tech Tribe does? And I will say that Alex, and he is still hanging out here on Tuesday mornings in the office. So you can also get some in-person interaction if you'd like. He's here on Tuesday mornings, but everyone is still kind of working virtually with checking out the Google Sheet, and we're gonna have a system around follow-up too. So knowing who reached out, was it taken care of, was it not? So a little more purposeful with our system. But that is really all I had as an update. So I will shoot this out in an email as well.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you. Plus then you can monitor like what common questions are and we'll know what we need to talk about. So I like it. I like it a lot. All right, I think we're on to Allison, did you have anything to add? Oh.
I just wanted to let everyone know that all of our leadership team will be out of the office tomorrow for our quarterly advance. So that means that no commissions will be processed. They'll resume again like normal on Friday, just so everyone knows.
Perfect. All right, so now as we want to open up for market of the moment, it is 12:53. Let's take a couple of minutes here. Let's talk about we'd love to find out a tip on what is working to get listings that is out of the box, or maybe it's just foundational. I don't know. And then what we're seeing if you're a listing agent, maybe some new things that you're seeing on offers that you haven't seen before, or if you're a buyer's agent, if you wrote something that is getting your offer to win. So let's open it up and please share the market of the moment. What do we got?
Just go on vacation and have Mark and Sheila Smith cover your business and get 2 accepted offers for your buyers that you've been working with for a while. Praise Jesus. Thank you, Smiths. I love you. Take breaks though. That's my market of the minute.
I love it. And hey, Allison, with that, like, how did you actually get to know the Smiths? Where did you meet them? Because it's not like we're in the office.
Oh, it's funny you ask, Kim. The 9 a.m. Mojo calls.
Yeah. Wow. So we do a lot on these Mojo calls. It is true. It's when you really get to know your associates. So
That was awesome. It was great covering. We loved doing it. It was awesome. And she's got great buyers too.
nice. All right. I need a tip. People, give me something or.
Well, Kim, I'll mention something. It's not necessarily with listings, but one thing our team has been talking about is the whole delayed listings, and we confirmed recently that they're not included in the MLS subscription emails. I thought before it was glitchy and wasn't 100%, but now we know they're 100% not. So like Jen on our team daily goes through delayed listings, manually scrubbing them for matches to her buyer and manually sending them to her buyers because we have to. They're not included in the automatic MLS email alerts as of now. We're going to try and get that changed. But you have to manually go through those. There's like 90 of them in Milwaukee County and 30 plus in Waukesha County right now. So a lot of great properties just sitting there and delayed that your buyers may not know about, or if they find out about them, are going to wonder why you didn't tell them about them. So you better go through those every day and be sending them to your buyers.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Isn't there a way to set that up in the actual MLS subscription?
No, I've been having emails with them all day today on it, and they will, your buyers will see it if you set them up on an MLS search portal or a portal they log into. It'll
Correct.
show up in the results, but it will not be part of their email alerts.
Well,
that's interesting because mine have seen them and emailed them to me.
Well, that's what I keep telling them. I swear that, I mean, I have too, especially in the past. I think sometimes they accidentally get included, but whatever it is, it's definitely not 100% of the times. You can't rely on it.
Yeah, that's a good point. The point is, don't rely on it and look at your delays. Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh, yeah, and just adding to that, I've definitely noticed that, by the time a delayed listing shows up, the showings might already all be taken. So just really do watch out for that because other people are, and there might not be any showing slots left by the time it goes into active.
Right. So make sure you're communicating that to your buyers if it is showing up in their emails to them. And they say, well, when it comes to May 1st, I might be interested in seeing that one, but let's look at all the rest of these for now. Still encourage them to pick out a time to go and at least get it booked, because if they go under offer on something else, you can always go back and cancel it.
Yeah.
How are you getting showing booked before they're inactive? Like showing time doesn't work.
Well, it does
until
if the
it's
agent
active.
sets it up. It's just some agents don't set it up and it just lingers there, and other agents set it up right away. You have the ability to set up showing time 20 minutes after you put it in delay, just like a regular listing.
Okay.
Oh my goodness gracious. So yeah, that's such a good point. Like if the agent doesn't set it up, okay. What else do we got? Someone give me a tip on why you chose an offer for one of your listings. What was in there? Besides being clean, neat, and one PDF. Go ahead, Tina.
I had something actually totally different, so that's why I didn't say anything. So, but I was just going to say, 'cause we were talking about today during our homegrown capper class about just the discount brokers right now and how are we having that conversation. And I think it's all about questions, about asking, or FSBOs. It's all about questions, right? What are the questions that we're asking to like expose the pain points with your sellers? Being like, yep, I totally get that you want a FSBO, you want to save the commission. So, let's just talk about, maybe I can still provide some value. Like, let's just talk about your plan for how are you going to handle the inspection? Do you know the difference between a defect and not a defect? Do you know your rights when it comes to that? So I wanted to put together like the top 20 questions that we ask or that we handle that our sellers don't even know that we handle, right? That they don't even know. That's the part is we haven't done a great job of proving our value. And that's why we're seeing where the discount brokers get the listings. So, what are you going to do when it doesn't appraise out? Do you know how you can provide comps to support your value? Like, do you know the difference between an FHA and a VA? And do you know if your house will qualify for an FHA loan? So like all of those questions and being able to have them at the ready when you're on a listing appointment, because I think you can expose some pain points and in the same point, just provide, prove your value because you're valuable. Don't forget it.
Yeah, I love that. I forgot we were talking about that, Tina. Like the more you can ask, the better off you are. So, okay. Do you want to put together that list of questions or your ideas?
Yeah, I would love to. So if anybody has any ones like that, they just go ahead and email me or text me too, and I'll just put together a whole list of them.
Yeah. And we could share them at next week's team meeting or whatever. So yeah.
Kim, real quick to piggyback on that, if you're a buyer agent, you're dealing with a limited service agent on the listing side, don't assume they're being proactive and giving every bit of information to the appraiser. Jen on our team just had one that didn't appraise out because the listing agent never told the appraiser that the price was like 20 grand higher or whatever the number was. So the appraiser just went off the initial price and it came in at that when really the price that everybody agreed upon was 20,000 higher. And the agent just never sent the amendment to the appraiser, so he didn't even know.
Ugh.
Which is another good point that us as listing agents can use on a listing appointment to talk to our sellers or potential sellers as to why they should use us.
Yeah. Right. It is so about a skill set, like Scott just said in the comments. Right now, we have to practice our skills more than anything. So.
Hey, I can offer some insight from a couple of listings recently as far as what made a seller choose an offer.
Yeah.
So I had two older sellers recently, and for one, it was all about highest offer. So they chose an offer that still had, a regular inspection contingency and a regular appraisal contingency, and they chose it because it was the highest. Whereas they could have taken a lower offer that had, no contingencies, but for them, they needed the money for dad's, assisted living. So it's whatever was the highest. And then on the flip side, I had a different seller who, actually was extremely stressed out about having to pick something or having to go through a bunch of contingencies. So there were 3 offers that were higher than the one she took. She took the one that had the fewest contingencies because it was the least stressful for her. So, always call the listing agent and ask them what's important to seller. And then just another note on a listing we had over the weekend, we received, I want to say 7 offers, which is not too bad. 2 of them went into my spam folder, my email. And one of the agents, I would never have known that their offer was in there. They never reached out to me. I only knew because the other one asked me if I got it and then I found it. But just make sure that you're letting listing agents know that you sent the offer. Give them a call, a text, something to let them know that your offer is there. Else I never would have found the one.
Yeah. And here's a little tip too on that, Lisa, is just calling the listing agent because obviously we're having this open conversation. We don't know what's happening at the other brokers if they're having these types of conversations. Is just asking the listing agent, what does your seller want? That is not a good question. I like getting really specific. Would your seller pick price or convenience? Like if we think about the questions, Tina, with the FSBO, it's almost like we also need a list of the dig deep questions that we need to ask the listing agent. Because a lot of listing agents will just make assumptions. And this isn't judgment, it's the nature of the industry and we're moving really rapidly and not everybody is as professional as we are. You need to ask really good questions of the listing agent to determine that. I like that.
Yeah, that would actually be very helpful because I know as a listing agent, it's it does get annoying to me, when they call, I'm like, well, what could make my offer more attractive? But if they were specific, if they actually asked, would it be price or, post occupancy? I could be like, well, they don't need post occupancy. I could, otherwise, I'm just I don't know, just whatever, we have to evaluate them. But if they were specific and said, you know, is, you know, dropping, you know, is not having an inspection really important to them? Or like, because I've had listings where I'm like, no, I know for a fact nothing in this house. If you have like a really well-maintained house, I'm like, no, this one's really good. I'm not afraid of an inspection at all. So I think Kim's right. Asking very specific questions would be great.
Yeah. All right. Well, normally Tina does coming soons now. If you want to quickly do that in a couple minutes, as we did go over.
Anybody?
I have one. We have a listing going live on Thursday. It's going to be in Sussex, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 6-panel doors, all new carpeting, huge sunroom, 13 by 17 sunroom, and almost a half acre. Really located in a great area. There's a park right at the block and right near the bug line. It's going to be listed at $369.
Lisa?
Yeah, we have a really affordable condo in Franklin coming up. It should be on the market on Thursday at 125. It's 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It has 1 underground parking space and 1 surface lot parking space. Not super updated, but also not original either. It was built in the 70s. But if you want, if someone's looking for something really affordable and in Franklin, which is a really great place to be, you should send them. I don't know, Dawn. I will check. Dawn asked about FHA eligible. I'll find out.
When is that going live?
It should be live on Thursday.
Awesome.
That was a great specific question, Dawn.
So
I have a condo going live on Friday. It's in Oak Creek, so it's just across the street from Lisa's. It is an upper. It's gorgeous. It has a loft in it. It is a 2-2 with a 2-car attached garage, and it will be likely $249.
Charisse?
Yes, ma'am. We have a mid-century mod ranch in Brookfield going live towards the end of this week. Not sure on the final day yet, but 5 beds, 3 full baths, 3,000 plus square feet, 3-car attached garage, fully finished basement with walkout. The sellers just put a brand spanking new roof on it. He's a woodworker, so he's got a lot of custom updates and custom woodwork and finishes in the property. It's totally beautiful. And that's going to be listed around $680. And again, that'll be going live towards the end of this week.
Anyone else? We have 2 going live. We have a condo down in River West, a 2-2, super cute, like right out of Pottery Barn, a garage, awesome. So that'll be at 2099, going live at the end of this week. And then I have a McGuanago property, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 5.6 acres, pole barn. You can have horses. Remodeled first floor. The second floor is not so good, but just a little paint and some carpet will do you some good. And cool sunroom, awesome house, 440.
I have one coming, cute little Cape Cod in Graceland Manor area, like 56th and Keefe area, 3-bed, 1-bath, 1-car detached garage. Beautiful crown molding, hardwood floors, super charming, basement ready to be finished, super dry, new countertop, freshly painted, new mulch, and a freshly painted new door. So that should be ready to go end of this week or early next week. They are open to a single party listing because they're in the process of moving and stressed about getting their stuff out. So let me know if you have a good buyer, priced at $150.
Okay, anyone else?
We have a few coming up for Lifetime Realty Group this week. I saw Jackie kind of type in the chat on hers. It's in Menominee Falls. It'll go live Friday, 425, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, really nicely updated kitchen, subway tile, white staggered soft close cabinets. And then Jeremy has 2 going live this week, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Overlook Lakes in Greendale. That'll be 234.9. And then also a really 2-bedroom Bayview ranch, really nicely located, kind of tucked between Howell and Chase on Ohio. And that'll be only 150, and that should go live, I think, Friday.
Okay, awesome. Anything else? I think that's it. Back to you, Kim.
All right. That's amazing. I love to hear about all these listings. Go have an amazing week, guys. Get some more. We need some more. Listings, listings, listings. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.